Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, we have the lovely Elisa joining us. We've decided that we're going to be doing this every single week. So stay tuned because every single Thursday in set time, which will be, every single Thursday in New Zealand time, a new podcast will be released. So make sure to pay attention. We're going to be talking about all your challenges, all your struggles. So if there's anything in specific that you want us to talk about, mindset, nutrition, fitness, anything, let us know because we're here to help you. And we're going to be more than happy to discuss the topic that you want us to talk about. And today we're going to be talking about something that we find most of our clients are struggling with right now. And that's how to eat off meal plan. And so we're going to be sharing with you how you can do that and also some strategies to help you with that, because we know that it's not easy. We know that it's really easy to feel guilty, and we don't want you to feel guilty. We want you to look at this as a lifestyle change and not just something as a restrict diet or something that's too intense, or like a little challenge of 8 weeks or 12 weeks. We don't want that. We want you to change the way that you see things, the relationship you have with food, and just everything overall. But thank you so much, Elisa, for joining us. How are you today?
Yes, very good. And I'm super excited. Like you said, it'll be really good just for everyone to, get us both like once a week to talk about, their struggles and their challenges. And, we can even maybe both of us put up like a poll, like what's something that you want us to talk about. That way we can get a bit more like that. So make sure like whoever's listening, if you've got anything specific that you want us to talk about, like just let us know, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. And it's hard to reach, everyone and every topic. So if you just give us a bit of feedback and what you want us to talk about, that will be good. But yeah, I think you pretty much like said it perfectly. I think that's a big struggle for everyone. Like our clients and other people that I speak to, trying to navigate through like social events and the weekends and all of that. And, I've even had some people avoid social outings just so they didn't have to have that stress. And you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I've been there too. I've done it before, and it's like it's not a sustainable approach, and I've learned from it as well. Like I remember even when I first started my journey, I was like, oh, I don't want to go out because, then I have to eat off plan and I don't really know how to track it or, to make sure that I don't overdo it. So, I think we can just go through some strategies
Mhm.
like that we feel will really help people and, kind of take that guilt away. You don't want to feel that guilt. And you don't want to be so food focused when you're out, like opening your fitness pal to try and, try to fit it all in. So yeah, like what's a strategy, like one strategy that you think is really good?
Mhm. I think I my voice. I think before I mention that, something for you guys to understand, and it's like whenever you start with your fitness journey and whenever you start with a healthier way of this fitness journey, just remember that it's gonna take time. Like it's not
Yeah.
gonna the habits that you have now, the relationship that you have now. Maybe if you're avoiding socializing, maybe if you're avoiding every time you go out, eating a few things, changing those habits are gonna take time. So the strategies that we're gonna tell you right now, apply them, but keep in mind that maybe one weekend you're gonna be, I smashed this weekend, apply all the tips. The following weekend might not be the best. So just be patient
Yeah,
as long as we
right.
stay consistent. And just take away whatever is useful for you, because maybe not all the strategies are gonna serve you. So whatever you feel like,
Yeah, that's right.
I can try this, I think this is gonna work for me, then do it. I think
Yeah.
my first tip and the biggest tip that I will give you guys is make sure you plan ahead. Obviously, you might
Mm.
not be able to plan all the time, like if something random comes up, but if you're able to plan your weekend, if you know, okay, this weekend I'm gonna go to my friend's house, we're gonna have a barbecue on Saturday. Sunday, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to my mom's house, we're gonna have another barbecue. Like if you know that ahead,
Yeah.
it's gonna be much easier for you to ensure that you don't feel too anxious, too overwhelmed about, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I have 2 days going out, I'm gonna be going off track. We wanna avoid that. So by planning ahead, you can make better and healthier choices. And you can think about, okay, do I want to drink on Saturday or Sunday? Or what things I'm going to
Mm.
take to the barbecue? Should I bring some salads? Should I bring some potatoes? Anything that you're bringing. But planning, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge, huge difference. And if you're not able to plan ahead, and it's just like on the day, something random, unexpected, like let's go out to eat, or you meet up with your friend and you guys want to eat something, just relax. Like one meal out is not gonna, it's not gonna ruin everything. I know that it feels like that at the time, because you're telling yourself
Yeah.
many things.
Mm.
That is not going to do too much. The only problem happens when we do this every single day, every single weekend, and it's like an ongoing thing, and then it doesn't stop.
No control. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's good. Like really planning the weekends and like perfect example. Just so people could see like a more real life approach. Like for example, last weekend, I knew that I was going out for pizza, right? Normally when you plan things, you kind of know in advance like where you're going. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes it's out of control, it's just last minute. But if you know where you're going, it's good. So I knew I was going out for pizza. So what I did, I didn't wake up on Saturday and just not eat until, that meal. I woke up and I just restructured. So I'm very much like, I'll follow like a meal plan, which a lot of my girls do as well. So what I did is I just kind of restructured it in a way where I was still having my frequent meals leading up to that, but they were less calorie dense, So rather than having rice, I substituted it for cauliflower rice. Instead of having, my bagel, I would have like, an omelet for breakfast, like just something I was still feeling my body, but having lesser calories. And because I knew pizza, it's a lot of carbs as opposed to anything else, I thought I'll leave my carbs for the night. You know what I mean? So I still had some during my day, but I just restructured it and made sure that I left some room for the dinner. And I think that's an approach that some people can take. Some people, it might be too hard to do that. But if you're someone that knows what you're going to have, or, like me, I even love looking at the menu if I'm going somewhere just to like have an idea. I always, and like now it's really good with technology and all of that, like and social media, like a lot of places post their menus on their
Mhm.
Instagram or on their website. So I just restructured my day and it actually didn't affect me. Like I woke up the next day, just got back on track. I didn't, restrict myself the next day or do heaps of cardio. I just went back to normal, you know what I mean? And I didn't feel guilty because I'm like, I allowed myself that meal, and it probably, if I tracked it, it probably would have been maybe 300 calories over
Mhm.
my normal day. But that's fine. Like I'm not doing that all the time. And, because I did leave some carbs for the night, I didn't feel as bad. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about restructuring your day. And I even try to tell my girls this, like restructure your day. Like I know with my meal plans, I give like the calorie breakdown. So if you can see there's a meal there that's like 200 calories, you can easily swap that out for something. You know what I mean? So it's all about educating yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing as well. Yes, relying on your coach, but also learn about food, learn about, what's in food, how many calories something can have. And like, even like, I think I'm going to do more of it as well, like food swaps. Like I said before, instead of having rice, that's really calorie dense, cauliflower rice. So I've still got that volume, but it's not as calorie dense. So little things like that, like little tips and tricks. I think that's really beneficial. So yeah.
I think so too. But like the way I do it, it's kind of the same to you, but also different to what you do. Like I think it's really good to like still eat all your meals. I'm sick. I used to make in the past.
Yeah.
Let's say I know tomorrow I'm gonna go out for dinner. I will literally starve myself the whole day, thinking that I'm saving calories.
Yeah.
You just wake up, have some water or coffee, but nothing else. No breakfast, no snacks, no lunch, nothing because I was
Yeah.
saving calories. And then by the end of the day, I was so hungry and I was just so ready. Like, should we go?
You just like inhale. Yeah.
Anything. But what I do
Yeah.
now, because I don't want to make the same mistake, I just have my meals as usual. So I don't remove anything. So with me, I just have the same breakfast, same lunch, same snacks.
Yeah.
Just remove my last meal or maybe last snack and meal because I don't want to feel too full when I go to the place.
Yeah.
Remove
Like
two
the
meals.
class two. Yeah.
And then just go enjoy
Yeah.
my burger, my pizza, sushi, whatever we have. And
Yeah. Yeah.
like look at the menus. I just think it's exciting, like knowing where you're going and look at the menu. Ooh, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
this and that or whatever. It's just a good way to know
Yeah.
exactly what you're gonna have. And also, I think another tip is that when you get there, don't order too much straight away. Just order one
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe one snack. Because another mistake I
Yeah.
used to make, because I was so hungry and I was so excited to eat at that place.
Like,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
I want that, I want this, I want that. And I will have so many plates on my table and I will never finish anything. And I would just,
Yeah.
one, you're wasting food, two, you're wasting money, and three,
Yeah.
you're full and you're forcing yourself to eat, which is
That's right. And you probably find that when you were doing that, you actually, if you were to actually work it out, because you were so hungry and you inhale everything, you probably ended up having like 3,000 calories just in that one sitting. So
yeah.
it's like you could like, restructure it so differently and had your normal meals and then maybe just had 1,000 calories at dinner as opposed to like 3,000 in one sitting, which we were talking about one podcast. It's like, it's not good for there's other things you got to consider, like your digestion, all of that, like, inhaling that much in a short period. So yeah,
Yeah, don't
so I
make that
can see what,
mistake. Yeah, don't make that mistake. Like,
yeah,
eat meals as usual. Just
yeah,
extract something if you have to. And also, I think another one would be with the liquid calories. And be really mindful with how much or what you're drinking. Because often people
yeah,
want to think, I want to have this cocktail, or I want to have, I don't know, this fancy drink. I want to have this and that. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's amazing. But those drinks are usually full of sugar. And that's something that
yeah,
you don't need that much sugar. Maybe having one, it's fine. But having two, three,
yeah,
4, 5, like just be mindful with that. Like think about it. You don't need that much sugar.
mm,
You're simply gonna end up feeling more hungry afterwards as well. So I think that's another tip for you guys. Um,
weighing it out. Yeah, because some of
yeah.
those drinks are like 300 calories just for one. So
Mhm.
if you're having like four of them, that's like 1,000 calories just on liquid. And it's like, it's not like filling you up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's no feeling, yeah. And I would say, okay, now you
Yeah.
another tip. I've got a few right here. But you tell us another
Yeah,
one.
so I really like that one. I was gonna say as well, like it's even some of my girls, they might if they go out like after dinner even with friends, they'll just cut like their last meal and
Mhm.
then substitute it for what they're having when they're out. So that's a really good way.
Yeah.
If you follow a meal plan like we're talking about, I find that's easy because you can kind of just like you said, just eat normally and then take out 2 meals to save for wherever you're
Mhm.
going out. You know what I mean? So that's why like a meal plan can be good in that sense. But yeah, another tip I would say there's another way that some people like to do it. And again, it just depends on your preference. And I used to do this years ago, but now I kind of just like to do it on the day. You can actually take like just like 100 calories off each day during the week to kind of save them for the weekend. So
Mm.
that way you can kind of just eat like normal and then you've got like an extra 600 calories to spare. And if you think about it, 100 calories each day, it's not like it's drastic. Like it's not like you're, taking so much food away. So that's another tip that, especially like my girls who are busy with work, they might not eat as much during the week because they're so busy, distracted, work, kids, taking their kids to, sport and whatnot, where they actually don't have time to feel the hunger. So that's why it can be a good strategy as well to kind of take 100 calories off each day and bank them for the weekend. Because at the end of the day, our calories are, like we were saying, it's total over the week, like your average over the week. So if you kind of it's like money, budget for that,
Mhm.
that can be a good way as well. But then again, you just need to know, um, educate yourself on how to do that. And, but I think when it's only 100 calories, it's quite easy. And
Mm.
what you were saying before, like liquid calories, people don't realize something as simple as changing the milk in your coffee, little things like that. Like I know even a lot of people, they're like, I have an almond milk coffee, but almond milk, the cafe ones, they have 100 calories just for like a regular size.
Mhm.
So that's something already you can kind of maybe like swap out or, like I used to get coffee with just like a dash of almond milk. Like there's so many different ways you can kind of, you know. So I think that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, people really underestimate the liquid calories
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that's a big
So
one, liquid
yeah,
calories. Yeah, and like any drinks or like
yeah,
even when they drink Coke, some people don't like the taste of Coke Zero at all. My sister's one of them. She hasn't
yeah,
liked at all. She's like,
yeah,
there's no way I'm gonna drink that thing. It tastes so fake and so like blah blah blah. I'm like, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you get used to it. Like for me, I think I'm so
Yeah.
used to it. I don't really tell the difference. Like it tastes fine to me. I like
Yeah,
it.
I can't tell. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's
People
right.
just
Yeah.
like it, yeah. But I think like also with the idea of like banking calories, I think it works for some people, but also if you, maybe if you're too
Yeah.
fixated with numbers and you're someone who doesn't have a good
Yeah.
relationship with numbers, just be careful. So that's what I say at the beginning.
Yeah,
What works for you and be, take whatever value you want to take from
that's
this,
right.
but don't feel like you have to apply everything. Because I know some people can get
Yeah.
too fixated with the numbers and they're
Oh,
gonna
they get, yeah. Yeah. They're gonna literally after this podcast go, all right, I'm gonna like apply every single strategy. And it's like you can't. You've got to like do what works for you at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So and I even say to people, try all different strategies to see what works best with like your schedule and what works best with your lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because for some people, banking calories might not work out well. That would probably be more suited to someone who's really busy during the week and, wouldn't really realize that change. But if you're not, yeah, you might just do something as simple as, on the weekend, your last 2 meals, just swap it out for whatever you're having. So, yeah, I think it's important to understand what fits best with you. And I've even got some of my girls, I said, all right, this weekend, I want you to try doing this. And they were like, oh, I like doing it this way better than what I did last week. You know what I mean? So it's that's what people need to understand as well. Very individualized. Like you can't just go on social media and be like, okay, that person did that. I'm going to do that too, because everyone's different. Like even people will ask me, I don't know, but they're like, oh, what do you do? And it's like, look, I'm a different person, different background. Like it's like, you can't just take what I do and apply it. It's got to be what suits you. Like I don't have kids. I'm not running around every afternoon taking my kids here, there, everywhere. So different people need to apply different strategies. And I think that's like the biggest message that we
yeah,
need people to like take.
mm, that's
Yeah.
a good point, yeah, because people always ask me as well, like, what do you eat? How much, what do you eat? And what do you do for exercise?
Yeah.
How much cardio do you do? And it's like, I don't mind sharing that with you at all. Like, if this is gonna help you, but
Yeah.
don't apply everything that I do because like this is done specifically for me. That's why I have a coach.
Yeah.
That's why my coach writes my program for me, my meal plan, everything that I do, it's
Yeah.
for specific goals and me as an individual.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
important.
right.
And that's why like social media can be amazing, but at the same time, it can also be a little bit,
Mhm.
it can
Yeah.
impact you in
It
the
can
negative.
be so like detriment, like or dangerous and detrimental to someone's journey because like there's some people that will look up to someone and follow everything they do, or like that's why I stopped doing and it just depends on the people. I stopped doing like the whole day on my plate because people were literally copying that and then they're like, I'm not losing weight. And I'm like,
Uh,
but I wasn't eating that. Like, you know what I mean? That I wasn't in a weight loss phase then when I was posting that. So if I'm not even like what, you know what I mean? So they just assumed that that would work for them, you know? Whereas like, if you just kind of take it as, okay, what's my goal? What's my lifestyle? Like everyone's different. There's never going to be like the exact same person, and that's why a lot of people, I try to get them to steer away from just buying a program online, like a random one, because it's not suited to them. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's so much more beneficial to work with a coach because I think of all my girls and they're all so different. You know what I mean? There might be some that are similar, whereas in like the days that and the type of training that they do, but their nutrition's different, the amount of steps they need to take so it's like it's all depending on their goal and where you're at in your journey. I think that's important as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like when you out of your journey, maybe you can be working with someone who's a beginner, intermediate, advanced, like everyone's so
Yeah.
different. And also something about social media is like people, when they look up to someone, let's say I really like this girl from Instagram, she has an amazing body. They also buy whatever products that girl is taking. Like if that girl is taking this protein powder, they want to
Yeah.
drink the same protein
Yeah, like a fat burner. Yeah.
powder or the green
Yeah.
tea or like the green powder or this and that or like the coffee powder with no caffeine. Like Don't buy into the
Yeah,
microplastics. I feel like that's something we mentioned every single
yeah,
podcast, but it's like be aware how you obviously it's your money, but just be aware of the things that you buy. Like if you're gonna be wasting that money, maybe invest it in something or someone that can help you better. Don't just like,
yeah, that's
money
right.
just like that. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And like, and that's another thing. Maybe we could talk about that on another podcast, like supplements. We got to understand, like people got to understand as well. Some of those supplements have calories, you know, protein, for some reason, people think that protein powder is something they can just have
Yeah.
multiple times a day, but it doesn't add to their calories. It's like, no, it still has calories. Just because it's straight protein, chicken is straight protein, but obviously if you're going to eat, you know, a kilo of it a day, you're going to put away. You know what I mean? So, people need to understand that, and that supplements, the word supplement it's meant to kind of supplement what you're already doing.
Yeah.
So it's not going to replace anything. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to change. It's like it goes in conjunction. So I think depending on what your goal is, depending on where you're at, that's when you should, think about supplements. Like even for beginners, I say to them, don't waste your money on supplements. You're not advanced yet where you're getting, you're training 5 times a week and you need recovery and all of that. So I think it just depends on the person. Like you said, that's where social media it can have its pros and cons.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, this supplement's good, but like, are you just buying it because you think you're going to look like that person, or you think you're going to be able to lose weight? So yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, that's a good topic that we can talk about next week. Let's talk about supplements.
Yeah,
Maybe let's talk about one of
definitely.
the supplements and the ones that we will recommend because there's
Yeah.
so many supplements.
Oh, there's
It doesn't
so many.
get every
Yeah.
single one of them just because there's everything out there. You don't have to get everything. You just need to get what works for you or
Yeah.
what you need. But as you say, like supplements
Yes.
to supplement your diet. They're not there to make up
Yeah.
for that, but it's not great. But going back
Yeah.
to the topic of like the strategies to help you be mindful with your food when you go out, I think another strategy would be to be mindful in the sense of like when you have your burger in front of you or your chips, take your time to like taste and like taste and flavor. Take your time to really digest that food, like really, enjoy what you're eating.
Yeah.
Don't
Enjoy
swallow,
it.
enjoy, yeah, don't swallow the food. Like take your time. You're eating that burger, take your time. It doesn't mean that you have to inhale
Yeah.
everything. Take your time,
Yeah. Because
taste
then
it.
you just like you miss it and you're like, oh, where did it go? You know what I mean? You want to be really like present with it. Yeah, that's important as well.
Yeah. Don't feel
And I
like,
think that's like every meal. Yeah.
sorry, you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like yeah, like be present when you're eating, because I think that's what leads people to feeling so hungry. They just like inhale their food and they're like, oh,
Mm,
like where did that go? But, like actually enjoying your food. And like you said, like taking your time, so that you can really like, especially when you don't eat that stuff every day, you want to really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
yeah. But
So
I feel like
yeah,
people eat so fast, or I used to eat so fast because like in your mind you tell yourself like, this is the last time I'm gonna be eating this burger, or it's gonna be
yeah,
another 2 weeks or 3 weeks until I eat this burger again. So you
yeah, yeah,
can eat everything, but it's not like that. Remember, it's a lifestyle. We're not bodybuilders that you have to remove the cheat meals for 12 weeks. That's something that I did. No cheat meals for like I don't know how many weeks.
yeah,
It's not like that. Like you can still
yeah, yeah,
like in
yeah.
moderation. Just keeping it flexible and having a good balance. That's the main thing that's going to help you with your goals. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And like, people got to keep in mind as well, these strategies, it's like a lot of people probably thinking, oh, it's too hard, like to try and do all this. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you really want to get the result that you want, it's just how it unfold. Like it's just the way it works. You need to apply strategies to combat social events, because at the end of the day, if it was easy and you didn't have to do anything, every single person would be walking around with the best body, in the world, if it was easy. But it's not. Like it's something that, it does take time, like we were saying before. Especially if you're a beginner, it takes time to be able to apply these strategies. It takes time to be able to understand food. I always say to people as well, when you go shopping, look at the different calories in foods and look at like the serving sizes and the calories, and like really understand food better, so that if you are out, you can substitute something without thinking, oh my gosh, like have I gone like way over my calories? If you kind of have an idea of like, for example, bread, how many calories is in 2 slices of bread standard, then when you go out, you're like, oh, I'm going to get like eggs on toast because I know that's like what I would have at home anyway, like similar. So little things like that, understanding calories, and what's in food and whatnot, I think is important, but it's something that takes time, and I think just people are really hard on themselves. And it's like, if you just, like we said, just take one strategy from today or just and apply it and just see how you go. You might be like, wow, that was really hard. Try another way, but you don't want to have that vicious cycle. And I posted something the other day about it where you're so good during the week, let yourself go on the weekend, and then you're catching up the next week, you
Mm.
know? And then people think, oh, it's all right because their weight's back down by the end of the week. Oh, it's all right, the weight's back down. But they don't realize it's like, it's just like a cycle. You're going up and then you're losing the water weight. You're not actually losing body fat. You're not actually like improving your body composition. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
there's little things like that that people have to really consider. It's like, what's worth it? Like, is it worth you just like going ham, going crazy on the weekend? you know, and then just thinking, oh, it's all right. By next Friday, I'll be back down. By the time my check-in is, or by the time I have to, yeah, I think people need to get out of that mindset too.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
also need to take action. Exactly what you said, because I feel like, guys, if you're listening to this podcast or watching this video, the reason why we're sharing these things with you is so you can actually apply what you're learning. Don't just keep all the
Yeah.
knowledge, all the information here, and then do nothing with it. It's like it's the same when
Yeah.
I talk to people, I talk to girls, and I was asking, how's your fitness journey going? Are you reaching your goals? And it's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but blah 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 blah. And it's always like, if you
Yeah.
know what you're doing, why are you not taking the action and doing the things that you know you should be doing? And that always comes down to, we know what we should be doing, but we don't do it because we don't have the discipline. And obviously building that
Yeah.
discipline time, exactly what you say, it takes time. We just have to action it, be
Yeah.
patient. It takes time. So just take away one of the strategies that we just mentioned, apply it, be
Mm.
patient, and don't rush anything. Don't assume that you're gonna see changes in just 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. If you want to be successful at anything, not just with your fitness journey, you have to be consistent, you have to be patient,
Yes.
and you have to be willing to learn new things. Don't, if you tell yourself, I know it all, I don't need to know anything more, that's just telling yourself that you don't want to
Yeah.
step out of that comfort zone and learn more things. Like always be
Yeah. That's
hungry to learn more, like hungry to gain more knowledge, and hungry,
yeah.
yeah, and take the action. I think, yeah, take the action, guys. Don't be lazy. And I'm sorry, like,
Yeah.
if this sounds mean or if you're being hurt by me saying that you're lazy, but if it hurts, maybe it's
No,
because
but it's true.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And especially if people feel like, oh, like that's me, like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, it's not like we don't, and this is another thing as well. We don't expect everyone to be perfect,
Mm.
but as long as you're taking the right steps and strategies to at least be that little bit better, like we were saying last week, that 1% better, that's what you can ask for. Like even, people even say to me and they assume because we're coaches, it's like, oh, you probably never go over your calories and you're so strict and you never do this. And I'm like, no, like we're not perfect
We're human.
24/7. We're human, but what's the difference? We're consistent. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we try to model and to promote. We're consistent, yeah, okay, we're gonna go over our calories sometimes. We're gonna, we might sleep in and miss a workout one day, but it's taking that accountability and being like, okay, how can I, you know, be better today? Yeah, okay, that didn't work out. Even like I was saying last week, I probably went over my calories by 300. I didn't wake up the next day and beat myself up, and I just got straight back on plan. So I think it's really important for people to understand that, because I feel like a lot of people think, oh, a lot of pressure to be perfect, and they're like, I'm not ready for this journey because I'm going to have to be 100%. And it's like, you have to be 100% consistent, but you don't have to always be 100% in, what you're doing, because things happen, things out of our control, and you don't want to have that guilt and, have that stress, constant stress, and be so food focused. Like there's more to life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think like being perfect or trying to be a perfectionist, it doesn't exist. Like when people say like I'm a
No.
perfectionist, I'm not doing X, Y, Z because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect. That just tells
Yeah,
me that you are afraid of something. Maybe you're afraid, let's say if
yeah,
I'm posting more on social media, for example, and you don't do anything
yeah,
because like it needs to be perfect. I cannot post that video because it has to be perfect. It just tells me that maybe you're
yeah,
afraid of maybe what people are gonna say about your video. Maybe you think that they're gonna say something. Maybe you think people are gonna judge you. And that's why
yeah,
yeah, I'm a perfectionist. Everything has to be done perfect. Like we don't no one is perfect. We're humans. We make mistakes. Things
that's
happen.
right.
We cannot
Yeah,
control everything. So don't be afraid and do the things that you know you should be doing. Take that action, get it done. And I think one last strategy to share that I have to share with you guys is don't feel guilty whenever you have that meal out or those meals out on the
yeah,
weekend or maybe during the week if it happens or during the week. Don't feel guilty. Like it's just one meal. If it's happening every single day, obviously think about what you're doing. But if it's just like every now
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and then, don't feel guilty.
exactly.
It's just not a nice feeling to have. It's not something, it's not a good relationship to have with food, with the social environment that you're in. So just relax. Everything will be fine. Like don't
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
happen. You're not gonna die the next day.
I know, and like that, it's funny you say that because it's actually really sad to think, and this might be some people listening as well, how their relationship with food has actually made them so depressed. Like every
Mhm.
day they wake up and they're like, oh, I fell off track again. Like, and they're just so down on themselves. And it's like, okay, what do you need to change to make sure that you have a better relationship with food? You know what I mean? So, um, I think that's really concerning as well. It's like we don't realize how many people let it consume them and dictate their whole day, dictate their moods towards like their family, their friends. You don't want it to be like that. So, yeah, just adopt a strategy that's going to work for you. I think biggest takeaway from today, adopt a strategy that's going to work for you, that's going to fit into your lifestyle, that you think is going to be manageable at the end of the day. And like I said before, trial different ones because you might be like, oh, I've tried that before, it doesn't work. Like even us, we have different approaches. So it's like try what works best for you.
Yeah, and just a quick recap, like for you guys, the tips I would share with you was plan ahead, planning is everything.
Yeah,
Don't save your calories. Like don't starve yourself the whole day just to have that one meal.
yeah,
Have your meals as
yeah,
usual. Structure your meal plan, your day a little bit different, but don't starve yourself. Be mindful with what you're eating, how fast you're eating,
yeah,
enjoy the food. Don't feel guilty. Everything's gonna be okay. And ask questions. Like if you don't have that knowledge with nutrition, you don't know what alternative to use. Like ask someone. Like that's why there's coaches. That's
yeah,
why there's Google. You can use Google. Just type it and
yeah,
look. Like, there's so much information
yeah,
out there. Like don't feel like you have to do everything by yourself. But I think that's pretty
yeah.
much all the strategies we had for you guys. Is there anything else you
Yeah.
wanna share with us before we go?
No, I think we pretty much hit everything. Like that's a lot of strategies for people to take away. And it's like, yeah, just, I really hope that it can help people and we can help people really overcome that constant battle,
Yeah.
of trying to, navigate through social events. Don't cancel your events, or, like limit yourself from going out. Just really try to move through them in a more positive way.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main takeaway. You can still be
Yeah.
social and still get the
Yeah.
results that you want. Losing that body fat, gaining that muscle mass, gaining that strength, whatever your goal is, you can make it happen. You don't have to
Yeah.
remove anything from your life unless it's something very negative. Remove that from your life. But if not, you can
Yeah.
keep.
That's right.
But thank you so much for
Yeah, definitely.
thank you guys for being here. We'll be here, remember, every single Thursday, New Zealand time, which is the same as Australia time. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember, send us your questions, anything you guys want to learn more about,
Yeah,
mindset,
definitely.
nutrition, send it to me, send it to Alisa. Make sure to follow Alisa on Instagram if you haven't done already. If you haven't done that already, Alisa's Instagram is, what's your Instagram again?
Empowerment PT by Alyssa. Yeah.
There you go.
It's a bit
Thank you
long.
so much. I was confused. Thank you so much, guys.
No, no.
And I'll see you guys soon. And as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao.